Hello, my name's Rebecca, and I'm going to talk to you today about how autistic children can have academic success. First of all, we need to have a diagnosis. Most children are not diagnosed until age 8. I believe that children who are diagnosed earlier can have a better success in school. The reason being that teachers are dealing with behaviors that children with autism are showing, such as what they would call disturbing the class, not doing what they're asked to do. They may have sensory issues, so they're not getting ready in their shoes that they're supposed to wear or the clothes that they're supposed to wear, and so on. And if we can get a diagnosis before school begins, then we can have what's called an individual education plan. So firstly, we need to get the diagnosis. Then the diagnosis needs to be sent in to the Board of Education. And once it's sent into the Board of Education, we can have what's called an individual education plan. Let me show you what a diagnosis looks like. This is a diagnosis of my own daughter, who is high-functioning autistic. Now, this is very, very extensive and explains quite a lot about her behaviors. So when the Board of Education reads this, they can specify what age she needs in school. I also would like to show you what an individual education plan looks like. An individual education plan has many, many different parts to it. I'm going to break it down to 3 different areas that are most beneficial to children with autism. This is an individual education plan. You can see at the top left, there is the logo for the school board. It says individual education plan on it, and it has the subcategories, the goals listed, the dates it's been written. It's written between you, the CERT teacher in the school that your child attends, and you may have a vice principal or some other aide like Resources for Exceptional Children or Durham Behavior Management are also available to come in the meeting and help write this individual education plan with you. Now, the 3 ways that I'd like to break this down are through visual aids, transition aids, and teacher aids. So I find my child works well with visual aids. So for instance, children with autism have a hard time expressing their emotions. So this was given to her in grade 2 so that she could point to how she felt instead of having to voice how she felt. And as you can see, there's an explanation of what those emotions mean. Another way to use visual aids is by using something of her favorite things like dogs on the one side, and on the other side you see recess rules. So that's another visual aid for her. And lastly, this is good for transition aids as well. This is her schedule from grade 2 or grade 3. And at the bottom here, she takes what's coming up next, maybe it may be snack time or recess, and puts it down here, and she can see what's going to be happening next. Now in the classroom, it's posted in her classroom. So that's visual aids. Then there are other transition plans. For instance, every year Cadence is introduced to her teacher before the school year ends so that she knows who she's going to meet. She is brought to the new classroom, so she knows where she's going to be. And my daughter is now 12, so she will be in grade 7. She'll be having a locker, so we're going to show her how to use her locker. So that is, interestingly enough, written in the IEP under transition plan. And since it's hard to see in the video, I'm going to read it to you. A visual schedule will be used in classroom, and that is the responsibility of that is the teacher and the CERT teacher. She will be informed of next year's teacher. The teacher will be informed of her strengths and her needs, and we will introduce Cadence to her new teacher, and that is the CERT teacher. Lastly, we will have help from extra teachers. So in your school, there will be a CERT teacher, there will be a child and youth worker, but if that child does not have the diagnosis, does not have the individual education plan, then those CERT teachers will have troubles being available to your child because there are so many other children that those teachers are in need to be available to them. But when you do have this individual education plan, the CERT teacher is able to check in with your daughter, take her out if they need, or son, take them out if they need extra help, and just keep working with your children. with what's written in this individual education plan. So get the diagnosis before school begins so that you have these aids available to you when your child begins kindergarten. And that's all. Thanks.